Continuing on, continuing on. So there's a reason why I play that song Wake Up, because many people are asleep, sleepwalking through life, not paying attention to what's going on. And when that happens, well, bad things happen. So we need to wake up to the reality. And I think more and more people are waking up every day as they are seeing the illusion revealing itself. People are seeing through the illusion that is being painted before them. Now, part of what has really helped this is that there have been those whistleblowers, there have been hackers, and those who have released information and are showing us that there's things taking place that we need to really be aware of. Things that are, well, very important to know because they've been hidden, but now once they're being brought to light, now we get to see the truth. And here is some of this information. We had another leak. Guccifer leak is finally here. Hillary and the Dems are finished, is the article. It says this leak is huge. The amount of weight this will carry in the current political battlefield is undeniable and will shake the Democratic Party to its core. The details of this report are extensive. However, the gravity of what has just happened cannot be bound to a single post. We will continue to keep you updated as the situation develops rapidly. We are quite possibly looking at the email dump that could cause the biggest shakeup yet in this election, and WikiLeaks has not even released anything in quite some time like they did back in July. These new revelations confirm that the DNC operated more like a crime organization than we knew. The leaks in July were nothing compared to the severity of documents released on September 14th, 2016. We now have clear evidence of pay for play, possible insider trading, Huma Abedin joking in emails about Benghazi, and more. The DNC brought and sold more political influence than one could ever imagine. They have proven to be nothing more than a gigantic money laundering organization that provides corporate jobs for the highest donor, and many emails prove that below. This leak is overwhelming, and we will list the findings thus far in a condensed fashion that is easily digestible. All right, so here are some of the highlights that are within these emails, within this dump. And as you can see, a number of them have been tweeted out. So what you can do as you are looking at this information here, if you click on these particular links, they're all set up, ready to go to Twitter. You can click on them and you can just tweet them right out. Tweet them right out, help spread the word, because the mainstream media is not going to talk about this. Mainstream media is bought and sold. We know that. It's unfortunate it's going on. They need to wake up because right now they're sleepwalking through life. I don't know what it is that the media is thinking. Maybe they think that they're immune from all of these lies that are taking place. Maybe they're concerned about their jobs and they're thinking more about that than they are about what would happen if the wrong person gets in power. But all we have to do is look at this information and realize there is something very seriously wrong with this whole situation here. So let's take a look at some of these things that were in here. First, Obama did create ISIS. When Trump made the claim that Obama and Hillary were the founders of ISIS, he was not lying. WikiLeaks proved that with the memo weeks ago. Click on the link right there to see the WikiLeaks. And now we have emails and documents from the DCCC proving the exact same thing. Democrats cannot deny something that they wrote themselves, and they wrote this memo. So you got the link right here. So if you just click upon these little links within here, it'll take you to the actual document itself. So let me click over here just so you can see what happens. Okay, and it clicks you over to the various emails talking about, all right. And so all you need to do is just click on those particular email links and it will take you, and then you can go ahead and continue to Twitter it out. So we've got one email acknowledging they created ISIS by creating a void of what they were doing. Here we have another one. This one is absolutely ridiculous and unbelievable in that, in the way they go ahead and are trying to remedy a situation. Democrats realized that they were hacked. And after they realized that they were hacked, they knew that they needed to get the information out to others. So what did they do? They went and used the system that was hacked to send out new passwords to other members of the DNC. Take a moment to let that sink in. The system of emails was hacked, and so they decided to send through their email system the new password. Okay? I know you can't fix stupid. You just can't fix stupid, and why would you do that? If the system was hacked, if the emails were hacked, that means you don't send anything further sensitive through there until you close up the leak and know what's going on. Apparently, they don't have very much sense over there because they decided to go ahead and send their new passwords through there, admitting they were compromised, then emailing a new password. All right, here's Colin Powell. We have emails talking about Hillary tried to use Colin Powell as the fall guy for her private unsecured email server. As if two wrongs make a right. But Powell in his email voiced clear concerns for Hillary to a major donor. Jeffrey Leeds emailed that Hillary could barely climb the podium, while Colin Powell described how bad she looked after her busy schedule of collecting millions from other corrupt cronies. Says she's got trouble too. No one likes her, and the criminal thing ain't over. I don't think the president would weep if she found herself in real legal trouble. She'll pummel his legacy if he gets a chance, and he knows it. Okay. Now, protests that have been staged. Everyone is well aware of the liberal kingpin George Soros paying groups to protest and cause problems. Well, apparently the DNC did the exact same thing. In this document below, it shows that the DNC sent their interns to stage protests when Soros could not send out his own mob of goons to do the damage. Okay, so George Soros was sending out people to go and protest. Sometimes they couldn't make it, so the DNC would continue by sending out their interns, and they would stage protests. These stage protests were done to elicit media coverage and to change the narrative on stories, like the Black Lives Matter events that were taking place, the Trump rally, sending people out there. More emails have revealed the DNC and George Soros were behind the paid protesters that were disrupting Donald Trump months back. Have you seen the protesters causing problems today like they did before? No, because the DNC hasn't ordered them to protest lately. Why? Because it's been discovered. These leaks are very helpful to revealing lies that are taking place. Here we have pay-for-play schemes. Years back, Rod Blagojevich, the Illinois governor, was sentenced to 14 years in prison for trying to sell Barack Obama's empty Senate seat. Well, in this email below, you will see Jacqueline Lopez using the words pay to play as a way to describe the donations sent to Obama for America, which is now organizing for America. But wait, we can also see the ambassadors are up for grabs too, and if you are the highest bidder, by the way, this is insanely illegal. So here we have stories of 1, 2, 3, 4 different people. Okay, the Assistant Attorney General, U.S. Ambassador to France and Monaco, the Chairman of the FCC. Okay, what you'll find as you follow these and read the stories, each one of them put up a large donation, and then for that large donation, they were given positions of power. The Chairman of the FCC, because he put up a big donation, the Assistant Attorney General, because she put up a big donation. Donations are meant to be that you donate to a cause. You're not supposed to be rewarded for the donations by the organization by then hiring you to a position of power. That's called corruption. Ambassadors, U.S. Ambassador to France and Monaco, it's called corruption, collusion, pay to play. They're paying money in order to pay for a position, to pay their way in. They're not getting in the normal way. It's cheating. Okay? And the DNC is doing plenty of that. Now we have Benghazi. Huma Abedin jokes in email about Benghazi. This is arguably the hardest punch in the gut. We all remember that Hillary and her goons blamed Benghazi on a video to protest as opposed to taking any blame. Well, here's an email from Huma Abedin's which is Hillary's top aide, joking about Hillary sparking peaceful protests. Look at the date stamp. The email was the same day that she attended the coffin ceremony for the 4 Americans that she left to die in Benghazi. This happened the exact same day Hillary lied to the faces of the families that lost their loved ones in Benghazi. So they're laughing about it. They think it's funny, right? I don't think it's funny. Election fraud. Early voting is designed to skew elections in Dems' favor. North Carolina used as a laboratory. This is quite possibly the most damaging leak yet to come out, but we are only getting started. The latest dump will be the last punch Hillary and the Democrats can take. Imagine how damaging all of this is so far. Okay? So, it's quite a lot in this dump. When it first came out the other day, it took a while to download. It's a huge, huge file. The file itself was like nearly 700 megabytes just to download it. And then once you downloaded it, it was compressed. There was there was about half a dozen compressed files in there, maybe more than that. And by the time you got done uncompressing them, there was well over a gig, almost 2 gigabytes of information of files that were in there. A lot of information. People are just going through them. Now, these are the leaks that came out from Guccifer, okay, the Guccifer group that is putting this out there. These aren't all the Julian Assange ones. He has a whole nother set of things relating directly to Hillary. So there's big problems for Hillary. Question is, who is going to wake up to see this? Are people going to wake up? Because if the people wake up to realize this is going on, this can end. It's up to the people at this point, okay? The people that are corrupt, they're not going to come clean on this. That's why they're being corrupt, in order to continue doing these things without the people knowing. But the people are finding out. Just like people are questioning what happened with Hillary after she had her episode the other day. Did she have a seizure there at the curb? Or I proposed the idea that maybe she was arrested. Then I don't know what the case is, but something weird happened there at the curb. The other ideas are that the body double came out after the fact. So we haven't seen Hillary. She's supposed to be out today campaigning, but we don't know what we're going to see there. Supposedly they're going to televise this, but are they going to be on some sort of delay in case something happens? Again, I don't know what the media is thinking. Do they think they're immune from all of the problems that are going to go on? If Hillary lets more people into the country that are coming from areas where there is extreme terrorism, and these people come into the country, do these journalists think that they're immune from any of these refugee terrorists hurting them? Maybe they think they're immune. Maybe they think that, somehow or another they're not going to be caught up in all of this. And, well, again, you can't fix stupid. And if that's what they believe, then they're sadly mistaken. Now, we were told the other day that Hillary has pneumonia. But this article here at the Washington Post tells us that she may not recover from it until late October. I'm not a doctor, so many readers have helpfully pointed out to me that over the past 72 hours, so I reached out to a real doctor to get some answers about Hillary Clinton's pneumonia diagnosis and what it might mean for her presidential campaign. Dr. Stephen Simpson, the medical director of the Division of Pulmonary and Critical Care at the University of Kansas Hospital, is that real doctor. Our conversation below, conducted via email and edited only for grammar and flow, is below. Okay, Hillary Clinton's campaign, she was overheated to an extent to an event Sunday and appeared to be somewhat unsteady on her feet. Are symptoms like this consistent with a diagnosis of pneumonia, which she received 48 hours earlier? The doctor says these symptoms and signs are absolutely consistent with a diagnosis of pneumonia. Overheated may well mean that she had a fever. Although it's difficult to say, pneumonia is commonly associated with intravascular volume depletion, or more precisely, causes intravascular volume depletion. Fix, what is exactly the medical description of pneumonia? How does it affect the body? He says pneumonia is an infection involving the parenchyma, the alveolar air sacs of the lungs, along with the inflammation of the immune cell activation that causes some injury to lung tissue. If localizes, it causes some impairment of the ability of the lungs to remove oxygen from the air and place it into the red blood cells. Generally, there are systemic body-wide symptoms such as fever, loss of appetite, muscle aches, as well as more local symptoms such as blood, cough, sputum production, which is sometimes streaked with blood. Okay. Little examples of this. He said, are there different types of pneumonia? Some people are hospitalized, others seem to handle it more easily. He said, yes, there are different types, mostly related to the organism that is invading. Bacterial pneumonia typically causes the symptoms listed above. Viral pneumonia, such as influenza, can also make a patient seriously ill, but are not typically associated with the chest pain. They tend to be more diffuse rather than localized to a particular area of the lung. All right. Says, what is the prognosis? How long is the typical recovery? He says, men and women 65 years of age and up, both presidential candidates, are particularly susceptible to pneumonia, which is a very common cause of death among the elderly. However, the prognosis for pneumonia that does not require hospitalization is quite good, although a person of this age should be able to function to do their job within a few days. If they take adequate rest and recuperate longer, if they try to work through it, it generally takes 4 to 6 weeks. All right, so I'm going to leave the rest for you to go over. But the Washington Post has traditionally been in Hillary's, corner, and they're putting out information saying that 4 to 6 weeks, from this doctor. Well, are they starting to give hints that Hillary may find different excuses for not attending certain events? Certainly seems that would be the case. Now, one thing that's very evident in this is Hillary keeps using the excuse over and over and over again that she was dehydrated. Doesn't this woman know how to drink water? Doesn't she know that when she gets dehydrated, and she only remembered 2 times the other day when she was asked during this conversation with Anderson Cooper, she could only recall 2 times, but the public record shows that it's well more than that. She doesn't know how to drink water to take care of herself. Therefore, we can say that this isn't very good judgment, and another reason to be concerned about this. Here we have a Dr. Milton Wolf commenting on Hillary's test that she took, but he claims that this test that she supposedly got a perfect score on doesn't even exist. Dr. Wolf is a board-certified diagnostic radiologist and is President Barack Obama's second cousin once removed. He tweets out, ever-changing Hillary's story. She's fine, just a cough, allergies, overheated, dehydration, pneumonia. And these still don't explain brain, blood clots, neurological deficits, long-term Coumadin, today's van episode. Dr. Wolf concluded that there's no need for wild speculation or sensationalization. Hillary's health problems are knowable and highly significant. This is my wheelhouse. Tonight he responded to Hillary doctor's report. He said Hillary's doctor just claimed Hillary had a perfect score on a test that doesn't even exist. He said, how to summarize Hillary's health in one sentence? Hillary's doctor just claimed Hillary had a perfect score on a test that does not exist. He goes on to explain why that is. He says, doctors talking about she had a non-contrast chest CT scan, including a CTA calcium score performed. And he goes on to say that a CTA is a CT or CAT scan angiogram. It always requires contrast, always. It cannot be included in a non-contrast CT scan. He said, in fact, there's no such thing as a CTA calcium score study or of the coronary arteries. This must be non-contrast. Okay, so we've got more than that. Again, it looks like somebody is lying And can you believe that? Can you believe that someone in the Hillary camp is lying? A doctor to boot. So if this doctor's lying, well, this doctor should have her medical license removed. But par for the course with Hillary's team that there's liars. But these are the things that are being exposed. Okay? Lies can't keep going on. Eventually, the lies will end. Why? Because people are waking up. When people are asleep, it's easy for the lies to get by. The reason that these lies are being discovered is people are waking up and saying, something is wrong. You're not making any sense. You're telling me lies over and over and over again. We know she lied about Benghazi. We know she's lied about the emails multiple times. We know she's lied about their health because we were told that everything was okay, health was fine, and then she has an incident, and now they say, oh, well, she did have pneumonia, but we just didn't tell you. Okay, well, there's another lie, and now these lies. It's one continual lie after another. And we can see how deep it goes through the emails that were presented from the Guccifer that these lies affect the whole DNC. Not only the whole DNC, but it also gets into other areas, Department of Justice, the FBI. Here we have a real traitor, Comey. Comey should be in jail for aiding and abetting. And this guy comes out now and he's saying FBI Director James Comey lamented on Wednesday that the loss of public trust in government institutions like the one he runs and blamed echo chambers like Twitter for making his job more difficult. My children again disciplined me not to go on Twitter because apparently people say bad things about me on Twitter. But things like Twitter offer us the opportunity only to encounter views consistent with our own 24 hours a day. Comey explained to the Center for Strategic and International Studies event Wednesday. There's an opportunity to feed that monster of bias, that confirmation bias, all the time. So it accelerates the fractionalization of our society. It makes it much more harder for people like me and like you, like the people in here, to speak reason to folks about our institutions. James Comey, James is trying to blame Twitter for why people have a lack of confidence in their organization. No, James Comey, it's not Twitter that is the reason why we have lack of confidence. It's because you portrayed the information in a way that shows us a lack of confidence. Okay, has nothing to do with Twitter. Twitter is simply reporting the fact that you lied. Now that you've been caught in a lie, and we know that you worked with the Clinton Foundation, we know that you're connected and in bed with their organization for years. Maybe you're afraid of being put on her hit list, and maybe that's why you're continuing to lie, in which case that makes you a sniveling coward. Whatever the case may be, it wasn't Twitter, James Comey, that has us suspicious about the FBI. It's you and your behavior. So quit lying to the people, and maybe we'll have a different understanding. But in the meantime, you're tearing apart the FBI. You're destroying any sort of reputation. And I don't know why there aren't others in the FBI that are taking charge and, arresting you for anything. Maybe there's that much corruption in the FBI. I don't know. But it just seems kind of weird. I would think that there would be others in there who have spent a long time, made a career out of being in the FBI, that would be pretty upset by all of this. Time will tell, but as people are waking up, things will happen. Speaking of waking up, just want to mention one of the comments the other night, 2 nights ago, Jimmy Kimmel made, and we know that he a couple of weeks ago had Hillary on doing the pickle test, opening the jar of pickles, which some have claimed was already pre-opened, and so Hillary opened it and proclaimed Hillary's healthy, she could open the pickles. Well, yesterday he made a comment, or the day before yesterday he made a comment that these conspiracy theories would be harder to believe if they didn't keep coming true. So hopefully he's opening his eyes and understanding the lies that are going on. And all of these Hollywood types that go out there and support this, if you would just realize you're being used, okay? Hillary refers to you as useful idiots because she knows that you're uninformed. She knows that you take money to simply read a script, and so you are provided with scripts in order to go out to say what they want you to say, like you're nothing more than a puppet. If you don't want to be used anymore, then wake up. Quit being used. Otherwise, you're just like they said, nothing more than a useful idiot. So quit being useful idiots out there, Hollywood types. Open your eyes. See that you're being used. Story, this is something that I mentioned is in these documents as well. Obama's connection to ISIS, start getting, that ISIS came about through his bad judgments and decisions. Here we have DHS whistleblower is asking the question, why does Obama form alliance with the Muslim Brotherhood? Got a nice long article about it. As a Customs and Border Protection officer, Philip Haney knew that the Obama administration was growing close to leaders of seven Muslim Brotherhood front groups in the United States. He knew that in July 2010, Secretary of Homeland Security Janet Napolitano met with several American Muslim leaders, including leaders of two Muslim Brotherhood front groups and another Muslim Brotherhood affiliate. The meeting was even hosted by the Office of Civil Rights and Civil Liberties, which allowed attendees to help develop the nation's counterterrorism policy. But why would the administration willingly partner with the Muslim Brotherhood or its affiliates? Well, that's a good question. I'm going to leave you the rest of the article. I'm going to tell you why. Because Obama is a Muslim. Obama is in office in order to destroy America. He came in and said that he was going to change the fundamentals, and he has attacked every fundamental value of this country. He has been connected with the Muslim Brotherhood from day one that he entered the office. I'm sure they're laughing, thinking how stupid America is that we've allowed a member of their organization into our office of the presidency, and he is doing everything he can to tear this country apart. And he's doing it in a passive-aggressive way because people have been asleep. That's why it's so important to wake up. So important to wake up. Now, if we had a press, the media that was a bit more for the people as opposed to against the people, that would really make all the difference. It used to be that we would consider the press as the fifth estate, that they would go out and they would provide checks and balances against all of these different politicians. But that's not the case anymore because they've been paid off. We have CNN, which we now refer to as the Clinton News Network. We have MSNBC, which is so biased for Clinton. And then we have Fox News, who we know, Megyn Kelly. Come on, Megyn Kelly's completely for Clinton. She's, a wolf in sheep's clothing. We have many there, that Brett Baer, Chris Wallace, those who were part of the team. The document was out, or the story was out about Rupert Murdoch putting together a team of people to oppose Trump to take him down. Remember, I like to describe the media as sheepdog. They all may look different, so we think, oh, they all are different. They behave a little differently. Maybe their barks, sound different. One's high-pitched, one's low-pitched, one's medium-pitched. We think that they're all different because they have a different style, but they're all rounding up the sheep, and they're all leading them to the same pen. And that's the trick of things. So the media is in collusion with all of this corruption that goes on, and many of them should be in jail as well for what they're doing. Here's a recent article that a major pollster has some stark news. American trust and confidence in the mass media to report the news fully, accurately, and fairly has dropped to its lowest level. Gallup polling history, with 32% saying that they have a great deal or fair amount of trust in the media. That is down 8 percentage points from last year, writes Art Swift, an analyst for the Gallup poll, which first asked the nation to weigh in on the press. Over the history of the entire trend, American trust and confidence hit its highest point in 72% in the wake of the widely lauded examples of investigative journalism regarding Vietnam and the Watergate scandal, Mr. Swift said. The sentiment has fallen slowly and steadily and has consistently seen below a majority level since 2007. Republicans who have trust in the media have plummeted 14% from 32% a year ago. This easily is the lowest confidence among Republicans in 20 years. Among Democrats, the number is 51%, and amongst independents, 30%. So Democrats, as we can see here, are the most trusting. As I've said over and over, liberalism is a mental disorder. All we have to do is talk to anybody that is a liberal, and we could see really quickly that their minds are disconnected from the reality of what is going on. The other day, Mark Dice was out at the beach doing his, and if you haven't seen Mark Dice, you can look him up on YouTube. He does a lot of really interesting videos down at the beach there in San Diego where he interviews people, and he asks them questions about what's going on. Half the people are clueless about what's going on in the world, but the most recent ones he was asking, and obviously you could tell he was talking to a lot of liberal-minded individuals, he was talking to them and about how the Trump kids who like to hunt were out and how they recently shot a pterodactyl, how they recently shot a saber-toothed tiger, a woolly mammoth, and a triceratops. Now you would think that there would be at least one person who would have proclaimed that these animals were no longer around, that they were extinct. However, that was not the case. Each and every of the individuals that were there actually thought, oh, what a horrible thing that they're shooting these animals. These are such rare, beautiful creatures. How could they be doing such a thing to them? Can't fix stupid, my friends. And if people are out there that stupid that they believe these things, well, that's a bigger problem. Now, I know a lot of people are concerned about what's going to go on with this political race, how it's going to play itself out. And I think we just need to stay the course and know that there's still a lot of things that's going to take place. We're only halfway through this month. We just had a big document dump. There's still going to be some more coming from WikiLeaks. We still have the October surprise and then on into November. Okay? So anything can happen, and it probably will. Remember, when Brexit occurred, even that day that they went in, the media was showing that they were down by 10 points, that they were the underdog. There was no way, and yet they overwhelmingly won. So the people make all the difference. The people make all the difference. And just to show how anything can happen, here's a report that's coming out now that Carly Fiorino is now endorsing Donald Trump. According to senior editor of Atlantic, David Frum, and consistent with a tweet from the Washington State GOP Twitter page, former GOP presidential candidate Carly Fiorino has endorsed GOP presidential nominee Donald Trump. In a tweet saying, "We must have President Trump, we can't have President Clinton." It appears that Fiorino, after months of silence, is jumping on the Trump train. All right, so anything can happen. You know why? Because people are waking up. All right, every time there's an incident that occurs, such as Hillary having a health issue in public, it pulls back the curtain on the illusion, and more people see that there's something going on that is bizarre. Something is going on that is not truthful. So as more people wake up to this reality, things will change. Carly has apparently seen enough to understand that she cannot be part of this illusion and this lie. And she needs to support the truthfulness because she has a family. She wants to protect her family. And she must be concerned about what happens if Hillary gets in office. If Hillary gets in office and gets sick or maybe even dies, then we get the next guy, Tim Kaine. We don't know anything about this guy other than he used to be the DNC chairman. In case you didn't know, Tim Kaine was the DNC chairman. He was the DNC chairman before Deborah Wasserman Schultz. And then he stepped down and put her in that position so that she then could do her part to get Hillary the nomination. Once she got the nomination, she then left and came about because of all of these emails that came out, but then she got hired by Hillary. And Tim Kaine, having done his part, was rewarded by being the vice presidential candidate. Even though he had a horrible track record there in Virginia, he has been awarded with that opportunity to be the vice president. Why? Because he played ball and did his part. He stepped down so Debbie Wasserman Schultz could get in, and then Debbie Wasserman Schultz helped Hillary get nominated, so now he gets to move up in his next position as well. People are waking up to see these things. That's good. We need to keep waking up. We need to pay attention to what's happening around us.